John Deere has officially responded to Trump, and it is not looking good. We recently found out that Donald Trump has once again targeted a major American corporation, John Deere. Trump vowed to impose a 200% tariff on John Deere's imports if the company proceeds with plans to relocate some of its manufacturing operations to Mexico. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, Trump declared. This bold move has reignited debates over American manufacturing, trade policies, and the future of domestic jobs. Let's dive deep into the situation, exploring John Deere's history, the challenges it's currently facing, and how these developments could impact the broader economy. Founded over 185 years ago, John Deere has become synonymous with American agriculture. Known for its iconic green and yellow tractors and the motto, "Nothing runs like a Deere," the company has been a cornerstone in farming communities across the nation. Headquartered in Moline, Illinois, John Deere is a global leader in agricultural, construction, and forestry equipment, ranking prominently on the Fortune 500 list. John Deere's mission has always been clear: to assist farmers in feeding America. The company built a reputation as the farmer's best friend, providing reliable equipment that helped increase productivity and efficiency. This partnership between farmers and John Deere wasn't just about business. It was a shared journey towards success and prosperity. In recent years, however, tensions have risen between John Deere and the very farmers they've long served. The crux of the issue lies in the company's use of advanced software that effectively locks farmers out of repairing their own tractors. Modern John Deere equipment is equipped with sophisticated technology that requires specialized software to diagnose and fix issues. As a result, farmers are forced to rely on authorized dealers for repairs, even for minor problems. Consider the plight of a farmer during planting season who encounters a software glitch. In the past, farmers could perform quick fixes themselves, but now they might wait up to 2.5 days for a dealer technician to arrive. This downtime isn't just inconvenient, it can be financially devastating. Every lost hour in farming can translate to significant losses, affecting crop yields and ultimately a farmer's livelihood. Farmers, traditionally self-reliant and hands-on with their equipment, feel a sense of loss of control. They've been maintaining and repairing their machinery for generations, and this shift represents more than just a change in procedure. It's a fundamental alteration of their relationship with their tools. Unwilling to accept these new constraints, farmers across the country are fighting back. They've filed lawsuits demanding the right to repair their own equipment, arguing that once they've purchased a tractor, they should have full autonomy over its maintenance. The issue has grown into a larger right-to-repair movement, emphasizing consumer rights and challenging corporations that restrict access to repair information and parts. Some farmers have taken matters into their own hands by hacking into their tractor's software to bypass restrictions. While this approach carries risks, it highlights the lengths to which farmers are willing to go to regain control over their equipment. This conflict isn't just about machinery, it's about independence, tradition, and the ability to sustain one's livelihood without unnecessary obstacles. Farmers view these restrictions as an overreach by John Deere, prioritizing corporate interests over the needs of the agricultural community. Adding fuel to the fire, John Deere announced plans to relocate significant portions of its manufacturing operations to Mexico. This decision has resulted in layoffs affecting over 600 American workers in Illinois and Iowa, states where the company has deep historical roots. The timing of these layoffs, some occurring just before the holiday season, has intensified public outcry. Critics argue that John Deere's move undermines American workers and contradicts the company's image as a pillar of U.S. industry. This decision comes despite the company reporting record profits, including $7.7 billion in 2021. The juxtaposition of soaring profits with job cuts has led many to question the company's priorities. Further exacerbating the situation is the significant pay increase awarded to John Deere's CEO, John May. Reports indicate that May received a $10 million raise around the same time the company was implementing layoffs. This disparity between executive compensation and the treatment of rank-and-file employees has sparked widespread criticism. Employees and labor advocates view this move as a sign that the company values profits and executive wealth over the well-being of its workers. It raises questions about corporate governance and the ethical responsibilities of large corporations to their employees and communities. Trump's threat to impose a 200% tariff on John Deere imports is a direct response to the company's outsourcing plans. The former president argues that such tariffs would protect American jobs by making it economically unfeasible for John Deere to manufacture abroad and sell back into the U.S. market. However, trade experts warn that this approach could have unintended consequences. Tariffs of this magnitude could increase the cost of John Deere equipment, and those costs might be passed down to American farmers. Higher equipment prices could strain farmers' already tight budgets, potentially leading them to seek cheaper alternatives or delay necessary equipment upgrades. Moreover, such tariffs could ignite trade disputes with other countries, leading to retaliatory measures that might harm other sectors of the U.S. economy. International trade relationships are complex, and aggressive tariff policies can disrupt supply chains and global market dynamics. The issues with John Deere are emblematic of broader trends in technology and consumer rights. The right to repair movement extends beyond agriculture, touching industries like electronics, automotive, and consumer appliances. Companies increasingly use software locks, proprietary parts, and restrictive policies to control how products are repaired and maintained. This trend raises important questions about ownership and consumer autonomy. When individuals purchase a product, to what extent should they have the right to modify, repair, or customize it? Advocates argue that restricting these rights stifles innovation, creates waste, and burdens consumers with unnecessary costs. Legislation is being considered in various states and at the federal level to address these concerns. The outcome of the disputes involving John Deere could set significant precedents for other industries and shape future laws governing consumer rights and corporate practices. The combination of restrictive repair policies and potential increased costs due to tariffs places farmers in a difficult position. Agriculture is a vital part of the U.S. economy, with crops like corn and soybeans generating billions of dollars annually. Farmers operate on thin margins, and additional costs or operational delays can have cascading effects. When farmers struggle, the repercussions extend to the entire food supply chain. Consumers may face higher food prices, and rural economies that depend on agriculture can suffer. It's not just an issue for those directly involved in farming, it's a matter that can affect everyone who relies on the products of their labor. John Deere has also faced legal challenges unrelated to the right to repair issue. In a recent settlement with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the company agreed to pay $9.9 million to resolve allegations related to violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The SEC alleged that a subsidiary of John Deere had engaged in improper payments to foreign officials to secure business in Asia. While the company neither admitted nor denied the allegations in the settlement, the incident has prompted calls for greater accountability and transparency. It underscores the importance of ethical practices in maintaining public trust and the potential risks companies face when they fall short. In response to various pressures, John Deere has begun revising some of its policies. The company announced changes to its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, reducing sponsorship for certain events and refocusing its employee resource groups on professional development and talent acquisition. These changes have been met with mixed reactions. Some applaud the company's efforts to streamline operations and focus on core business objectives, while others view it as a retreat from commitments to social responsibility and inclusivity. Understanding the current controversies requires a look back at John Deere's storied history. From its inception in 1837, when John Deere invented the steel plow, the company has been at the forefront of agricultural innovation. It played a crucial role in the development of farming in the Midwest, enabling farmers to cultivate land more efficiently and effectively. Throughout the 20th century, John Deere expanded its product lines, embraced new technologies, and grew into a global enterprise. The company's success was built on a reputation for quality, reliability, and a close connection with the farming community. These deep roots make the current tensions all the more poignant. The sense of betrayal felt by some farmers and workers stems from a long-standing relationship that they believe is being eroded by corporate decisions favoring profits over people. The controversy over John Deere isn't occurring in a vacuum. It reflects broader economic shifts, including globalization, technological advancement, and changing trade policies. Companies are constantly balancing the demands of competitiveness, shareholder expectations, and social responsibility. Trump's return to the political scene and his emphasis on protectionist trade policies add another layer of complexity. His proposed tariffs on John Deere could signal a more aggressive stance on trade that might affect multiple industries and international relationships. Economists caution that such policies could lead to trade wars, increase costs for consumers, and disruptions in global supply chains. The potential for retaliatory measures from other countries could further complicate the economic landscape. The path forward for John Deere involves navigating these multifaceted challenges. The company must consider how to maintain profitability and competitiveness while addressing the concerns of farmers, employees, and consumers. Rebuilding trust with the farming community may require reevaluating repair policies and finding a balance that respects both the company's intellectual property and the farmer's need for autonomy. Engaging in open dialogue and collaboration could lead to solutions that benefit all parties. On the manufacturing front, the decision to move operations abroad must be weighed against the potential backlash and long-term implications for the brand's reputation. Investing in American workers and communities could strengthen the company's standing and contribute to a more sustainable business model. John Deere's controversial practices, which exploit the loyalty of American farmers, have recently come to light, sending shockwaves through the agricultural sector. These tactics, widely viewed as a betrayal of the company's loyal customer base, could signal a decline for the iconic American brand. Never before has the farming industry faced such a collective outcry against one of its most trusted companies. Farmers are outraged, lawmakers are demanding accountability, and investors are questioning their stakes in the corporation. In today's episode, we'll take a deep dive into the controversies surrounding John Deere, revealing how this cherished American institution is jeopardizing its reputation in pursuit of profit. Stay tuned as we examine the unfolding story that has shaken the agricultural world to its core. For over a century, John Deere has been synonymous with reliability and innovation in agricultural machinery. Its high-quality equipment has supported generations of farmers, earning their loyalty and admiration. This devotion is so strong that many farmers proudly declare they bleed green, a nod to Deere's signature color. But this unwavering allegiance has created an environment where John Deere appears to have shifted its priorities. Rather than rewarding the trust of its customers, the company has seemingly chosen to exploit it, putting corporate profits above the needs of the farming community. A key indicator of this shift lies in Deere's pricing strategy, which positions it at the high end of the agricultural equipment market. A closer look at the numbers reveals just how much more farmers are paying for the John Deere name. For instance, the John Deere ADR series tractors, which offer between 230 and 410 horsepower, typically cost between $300,000 and $500,000, depending on the features selected. In comparison, Case IH's Magnum 340 tractor with similar horsepower is more affordable, priced between $270,000 and $350,000. AGCO's Fendt 900 series tractors, while slightly higher in cost than Case IH, start around $350,000 and increase with added features, making them competitive alternatives to Deere. This pricing disparity isn't limited to tractors. It extends to other categories such as combines. Deere's X9 series combines, while top performers in their class, come with a hefty price tag ranging from $800,000 to $1.2 million. In contrast, Case IH's 250 series axial flow combines are priced more affordably, between $600,000 and $900,000. Similarly, AGCO's Massey Ferguson Ideal combines range from $650,000 to $1 million, depending on their configuration. Deere's consistent pattern of premium pricing has led many to believe that the company is more focused on maximizing its bottom line than supporting the farmers who rely on its products. While loyal customers have historically been willing to pay a premium for quality, the current pricing strategy has raised serious concerns about whether that loyalty is being taken for granted. But pricing is just the tip of the iceberg. John Deere's repair policies have sparked even greater outrage. For years, the company restricted farmers' ability to repair their own equipment, effectively forcing them to rely on Deere's authorized service providers. This policy created significant challenges for farmers, who often faced costly delays when their equipment broke down during critical periods. One farmer from Illinois summed up the frustration, saying, "If I knew what sensor was bad in that combine, I could fix it in 5 minutes. But without the software, it's impossible to know what's wrong." Deere's policy required farmers to contact the company for repairs, often incurring high costs for service calls and labor. The inability to make timely repairs led to financial losses, as idle equipment meant missed opportunities during planting and harvesting seasons. Farmers also criticized Deere's refusal to provide the diagnostic tools needed for independent repairs, further cementing the company's control over the repair process. This approach generated widespread resentment and eventually led to lawsuits and public pressure. In response to mounting criticism, Deere announced a shift in its repair policy, granting farmers the long-sought right to repair their own equipment. This move was hailed as a victory for farmers, but the implementation has been far from smooth. Senator Elizabeth Warren recently accused Deere of failing to uphold its commitments, stating, "Deere's impaired tools and inadequate disclosures hinder farmers from repairing their equipment." According to Warren, the company has not updated its manuals to provide farmers with the necessary guidance for repairs, leaving many skeptical about Deere's intentions. The lack of transparency and meaningful support has led to speculation that Deere's initial reluctance to allow independent repairs was driven by the significant revenue it generated from repair services. Reports suggest that Deere earns 3 to 6 times more from repairs than from equipment sales. By maintaining control over repairs, the company has been able to maximize its profits at the expense of farmers. This business model has drawn sharp criticism from both farmers and lawmakers, who view it as an abuse of power. Adding to these frustrations, Deere's increasing reliance on advanced technology has raised concerns about data ownership and privacy. Modern John Deere equipment is equipped with sophisticated sensors and software that collect detailed information on various aspects of farming, including soil conditions, crop health, and equipment performance. While this technology promises to enhance efficiency, it has left farmers questioning who owns the data generated on their fields. Many argue that this information, gathered through years of investment and effort, should belong to the farmers. However, Deere's lack of transparency has fueled fears that the company could leverage or sell this data, potentially disadvantageous to individual farms. Deere's recent partnership with SpaceX to use the Starlink network for improved connectivity has also introduced new cybersecurity risks. While the collaboration aims to enhance equipment functionality, it raises questions about the security of sensitive data. A breach could expose critical farming information or disrupt operations during key periods, compounding the challenges farmers already face. Environmental practices have become another point of contention for John Deere. The company has pledged to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, water usage, and waste, but critics argue that its initiatives fall short of addressing the broader ecological impacts of its equipment. Deere's precision agriculture technologies, such as its Blue River see and spray system, are designed to reduce herbicide use by targeting weeds more accurately. However, these technologies do little to address the long-term effects of pesticide dependency, which can harm biodiversity and degrade soil health. Additionally, Deere's approach to sustainability has been criticized for promoting monoculture farming, which often relies on high pesticide applications. While the company has set ambitious environmental targets, including recycling 75% of its waste and designing equipment with life cycle sustainability in mind, these efforts are seen as insufficient to tackle the larger ecological challenges associated with modern farming practices. Perhaps the most troubling aspect of Deere's operations is its monopolistic behavior. As of 2024, John Deere controls over 40% of the U.S. market for tractors and agricultural machinery, giving it significant influence over pricing and repair policies. This market dominance has left farmers with limited choices, forcing many to remain loyal to Deere despite their frustrations. Instead of fostering innovation, Deere has focused on acquisitions, buying out competitors to consolidate its position and stifle competition. This strategy has allowed Deere to maintain its grip on the market, but it has also led to higher costs and fewer alternatives for farmers. By prioritizing shareholder profits over customer satisfaction, Deere risks alienating the very community that has supported it for generations. Despite its many controversies, the company still has time to turn things around. Greater transparency, fair repair policies, and a stronger commitment to sustainability could help restore trust and ensure its long-term success. Ultimately, Deere's future hinges on its ability to listen to farmers and adapt to their needs. The company's legacy is built on the loyalty of the farming community, and it must prioritize their interests to remain a leader in the agricultural industry. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the challenges and opportunities facing this iconic brand. Donald Trump warned John Deere executives that he would drastically reshape their financial situation if they moved manufacturing operations overseas. For over a century, John Deere has stood as an emblem of American agriculture, synonymous with quality, innovation, and resilience. However, in recent years, the company has faced growing concerns about its future. Many are questioning whether this could mark the beginning of the end for one of America's most iconic brands. While the company faces multiple challenges, many critics argue that policies introduced during Trump's presidency, particularly tariffs, have been a significant factor in John Deere's mounting struggles. In this comprehensive analysis, we will explore the impact of these tariffs on John Deere, its customers, and the agricultural industry as a whole, and whether they could push the company closer to bankruptcy. Donald Trump made his position clear when John Deere announced plans to move some manufacturing operations out of the United States. Trump threatened a 200% tariff on any John Deere products manufactured overseas and sold back into the United States. His goal with tariffs was to protect American industries by making foreign goods more expensive and encouraging consumers to buy domestically produced products. On paper, this policy appeared to align with John Deere's interests. As a company deeply rooted in the heartland of America, John Deere seemed poised to benefit from these policies that prioritized domestic manufacturing and sought to strengthen American jobs. Initially, these tariffs appeared to create an opportunity for John Deere. By increasing the cost of foreign-made machinery, the price gap between John Deere's products and those of its overseas competitors narrowed. This theoretically gave John Deere a competitive edge in the U.S. market. Farmers, the company's primary customer base, were expected to see John Deere as a more attractive option compared to foreign alternatives. Many believed this could create a golden opportunity for John Deere to dominate the agricultural machinery market and boost its revenues during a time of rising global demand for farming equipment. However, the reality of the situation turned out to be far more complicated than anticipated. While the tariffs were designed to provide an advantage to companies like John Deere, they also introduced a range of unintended consequences. Farmers, already cautious about making large investments in expensive equipment, became even more hesitant in the face of economic uncertainty. For many farmers, purchasing a new tractor, combine, or other machinery from John Deere represents a significant financial commitment. They need confidence in the stability of their income and the broader agricultural market to make such decisions. Unfortunately, the tariffs disrupted this confidence, creating a volatile economic environment that made farmers reluctant to invest in new equipment. One of the most immediate and significant effects of the tariffs was the rising cost of raw materials. John Deere relies heavily on global supply chains to source components for its machinery, including essential materials like steel and aluminum. When the United States imposed tariffs on these imports, the cost of production for John Deere increased substantially. To offset these rising costs, John Deere was forced to raise the prices of its equipment. While this was necessary to maintain profitability, it created a ripple effect that hurt both the company and its customers. Farmers, already operating on razor-thin profit margins, found it increasingly difficult to afford John Deere's higher-priced equipment. This led to a noticeable decline in sales, further exacerbating the challenges facing the company. The situation was further complicated by international retaliation against Trump's tariffs. Key trading partners, including China, responded with their own tariffs targeting American goods. These retaliatory measures had a particularly severe impact on the U.S. agricultural sector, which relies heavily on exports to global markets. Crops like soybeans and corn, staples of American farming, faced reduced demand in international markets as countries like China imposed higher tariffs on these products. As a result, many American farmers experienced a significant drop in income. This further diminished their ability to invest in new machinery, directly impacting John Deere's bottom line. The combination of rising production costs and declining demand from farmers created a perfect storm for John Deere. The company found itself squeezed on both sides, with increased expenses and reduced revenue. In an effort to address these challenges, John Deere announced plans to shift some of its manufacturing operations to Mexico. This decision, while financially motivated, sparked backlash from both the public and political leaders. Trump's reaction was swift and pointed, threatening the company with a 200% tariff on any products manufactured in Mexico and sold in the United States. This controversy highlighted the broader difficulties John Deere faced in navigating both domestic and international economic pressures. While the financial challenges were significant, the tariffs also had long-term implications for John Deere's ability to innovate. Innovation has historically been a cornerstone of John Deere's success, enabling the company to lead the agricultural machinery industry with cutting-edge advancements. From autonomous tractors to precision farming tools, John Deere has consistently set the standard for technological innovation in agriculture. However, the financial strain caused by the tariffs limited John Deere's ability to invest in research and development. Without adequate funding for innovation, John Deere risked falling behind its competitors. The slowdown in innovation at John Deere has far-reaching consequences. Farmers rely on advanced technology to improve efficiency, manage resources, and address challenges such as sustainability. If John Deere cannot provide farmers with the tools they need to stay competitive, the company risks losing market share to competitors who can. This not only threatens John Deere's position as a leader in the industry, but also jeopardizes its long-term viability. Adding to John Deere's challenges is the growing momentum behind the right to repair movement. Farmers have become increasingly frustrated with John Deere's restrictive repair policies, which require them to rely on authorized dealers for repairs. These policies often make it more expensive and time-consuming for farmers to maintain their equipment. The right to repair movement advocates for farmers' ability to repair their own machinery without relying on John Deere's proprietary tools and software. As the movement gains traction, it has put additional pressure on John Deere to change its business practices. John Deere's resistance to the right to repair movement has led to legal battles and further strained its relationship with its core customer base. Many farmers, already disillusioned by rising equipment costs, are now questioning their loyalty to the brand. Competitors that offer more repair-friendly options are beginning to attract customers who are frustrated with John Deere's policies. This erosion of trust poses a significant threat to John Deere's future. The challenges facing John Deere extend beyond the company itself. If John Deere cannot overcome these obstacles, it could have far-reaching consequences for the agricultural sector. Farmers depend on John Deere's machinery to maintain productivity and profitability. A decline in John Deere's operations could lead to a reduction in the availability of reliable equipment, leaving farmers with fewer options and higher costs. This, in turn, could drive up food prices and create instability in the agricultural supply chain. The ripple effects of John Deere's struggles are a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of the global economy. Policies such as tariffs, while intended to protect domestic industries, can have unintended consequences that ripple through entire sectors. For John Deere, the combination of rising production costs, declining farmer incomes, and strained customer relationships has created a dire situation. While the company has weathered challenges in the past, the current circumstances present a unique set of difficulties that threaten its future. John Deere's ability to recover will depend on its leadership's willingness to adapt, innovate, and rebuild trust with its customer base. This will require a comprehensive strategy that addresses not only the immediate financial challenges, but also the broader issues affecting the agricultural industry. Whether John Deere can rise above these challenges, or whether this marks the beginning of the end for the company, remains to be seen. One of the critical lessons from John Deere's current predicament is the importance of foresight and adaptability in business. When the tariffs were first introduced, they were intended to protect companies like John Deere. However, the full consequences of these policies were not entirely understood at the time. In hindsight, It is clear that John Deere could have taken a more proactive approach to mitigate the risks associated with the tariffs. This might have included diversifying its supply chain, exploring alternative markets, or investing in cost reduction strategies. As John Deere faces increasing financial pressure, it is worth considering what the company can do to turn things around. One potential solution is to embrace the right to repair movement and address the concerns of farmers. By making its equipment more accessible for repairs, John Deere could rebuild trust with its customers and strengthen its position in the market. Another critical step is to invest in innovation. Despite the financial challenges, John Deere cannot afford to fall behind in technological advancements. The company must find a way to fund research and development to remain competitive. John Deere's current situation also underscores the need for collaboration between industry and government. While the tariffs were intended to protect American businesses, their implementation created unintended consequences that hurt both John Deere and its customers. Moving forward, policymakers and industry leaders must work together to develop solutions that support domestic industries without creating unnecessary economic burdens. John Deere has a long history of resilience and innovation. While the challenges it currently faces are significant, the company has the potential to recover and thrive once again. However, this will require bold leadership, strategic decision-making, and a willingness to adapt to the evolving needs of the agricultural industry. The story of John Deere serves as a cautionary tale about the complexities of global trade and the importance of balancing short-term gains with long-term sustainability. Whether John Deere can overcome these challenges and secure its future remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the decisions made in the coming years will shape not only the fate of John Deere, but also the broader agricultural sector it serves.